The News Hour at 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Reserve Bank of India today made some key announcement. It slashed the repo rate by 40 basis points to 4%, which is the lowest in the last 20 years. And the reverse repo rate was cut down to 3.75 from 3.75 to 3.35. What does that really mean for you? Well, for one, our EMIs are all set to come down. We will now share lesser every month once our respective banks pass on this benefit. Another big relief measure for the Aam Aadmi was the extension of the loan moratorium for another 3 months. These measures not only increase cash in hand for the Aam Aadmi, but also injects more liquidity into the economy. These measures are aimed at stabilizing India's economy and tackle the fallout of the pandemic and the lockdown. And joining me tonight is Managing Editor of ET Now, Nikunj Dalmia, and he's going to break it down for us. Thank you, Nikunj, for joining us. Sometimes these numbers don't make sense to the Aam Aadmi. Repo rate, reverse repo rate. Will you just tell them in simple terms, are we going to have our EMIs cut?
Well, Navika, good evening. It's so great to be part of NewsHour. And trust me when I say that, more than me, Navika, actually my mother-in-law is excited that I'm actually part of NewsHour today.
Mothers-in-law are extremely important to keep happy. So Nikunj Dalmia, you owe me one for that. But tell me, is your mother-in-law happy? Is she happy that you're going to have a lesser burden of EMIs?
Well, my wife is certainly happy. And let me explain the process. What Reserve Bank of India has done is that they have essentially cut reverse repo rates and repo rates. Now, when you bring down interest rates, obviously, like you said, the EMIs will become cheaper because banks right now will be able to bring your EMIs down. Also, what Reserve Bank of India has done is that they have told banks that you should start lending. There are only two ways in which government can stimulate the economy. So we are at war and Reserve Bank of India is using heavy artillery to fight this war. So there are only two ways. One is fiscal, where the government has said, look, we've got limited ability to stimulate the economy. Now it's the monetary part which has to be stimulated. So Reserve Bank of India is telling banks that if you park money with us, we're not going to give you too much of interest. Best is you go out and start lending so that the economy normally and naturally will start coming back. So that's Reserve Bank of India bringing the EMIs down and telling banks they can lend so that people who want to borrow money right now, it will be easier for them to borrow money. Also the moratorium part, very important. What is moratorium? First, Reserve Bank of India said that you can give your loans after a gap of 2 months. Now you can go to September end, which means in October when you will go, your EMIs will start. But there are no free lunches here. In September, when you will go to the bank or your bank, the bank will ask two things. One, do you want to continue with, how will you pay me that gap? One, would you like to extend the tenure of your loan or would you like your EMI account to go higher? So that's an option which all of us will have to take. But for the moment, I guess till the September end, you don't have to worry about your EMIs. And the reason why you don't have to worry about EMIs is because the moratorium has got extended. Now, Navika, we can argue and say that is this good or bad. For the moment, the economy is crippled. There is no cash flow. Cash generation is not happening. So I guess this is the best the Reserve Bank of India could do. So government, in a sense, was trying to stimulate the economy by fiscal measure, which have not impressed the market. But what Reserve Bank of India today has done is especially going to make life easy for you and me, Aam Aadmi, in terms of that nightmare which we had because our EMIs were getting due from 1st of June.
Well, Nikunj Dalmia, thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen and viewers who are watching tonight, it couldn't have been explained better by anybody else as Nikunj Dalmia has explained to us. And if you are short of cash, then take advantage of the moratorium that has been extended and pay when your employer pays you. But if you're somebody who's getting your salaries, I would sense that Nikunj Dalmia's suggestion is then keep paying your EMIs because there is no free lunch. Either your EMI amount will go up because there will be a pending interest rate which will be charged to your account when you start paying your EMIs, or your loan duration will extend. So think before you extend your moratorium. If you need cash, do that. If you don't need cash and your salary is coming on time, then take a call and be intelligent about your cash and your investments. Thank you very much, Nikunj Dalmia, for joining me here on the News Hour, and a big namaste to your mother-in-law. Thanks to her. I had you on the News Hour tonight. And tonight, let me move on to the big story, the stunning details which are staring the Lutyens lobby, which is in vehement denial over a plot to create unrest in India and show the nation in poor light. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is a fact. And the BJP, when it said that it was on target because there were some people who went out there and designed these riots in such a manner so that India cut a sorry figure on the global stage when the US president was visiting India. Inside details of the probe into the Delhi riots is now pointing towards this. A sinister plot by a network of key conspirators who wanted to defame India ahead of Trump's visit. Not only have the investigating agencies seized incriminating material that allegedly proves conspiracy, but the probe also has revealed formation of special team. It's a special committee to aggravate communal tension. Times Now's Nikunj Garg will provide us details of the findings of these agencies, which clearly went with an agenda कि Hindu-Muslim karana hoga. They will have to play on the fears of many people in the country. Also, what Nikunj has told us is that it's not just Hindu-Muslim and the WhatsApp chat groups which were showing all of this. The conspirators have also zeroed in on northeast Delhi. Yes, their original plan was to make Shaheen Bagh the simmering spot because that was already functioning since December when the anti-CAA stir took over. But due to the skewed nature of population, because it had the minority community in large numbers and not so many from other communities there, they decided to target northeast Delhi, where it was easy to provoke a communal riot. That is the conspiracy, a conspiracy that was planned cold-bloodedly. And there's breaking news coming in. Breaking news coming in that investigating agencies have unearthed not just a leftist Islamic plot to create unrest ahead of the Trump visit to India. Topmost sources in the government handling the investigation have told Times Now that there is a PFI linkage to this. Let me get in Nikunj Garg, my colleague and internal security editor of Times Now, to give us details of this information that he's been able to get. Nikunj, this is not just about the WhatsApp groups, the cold-blooded planning of northeast Delhi as a choice of location for instigating communal unrest, but it also talks about money transfers, and money transfers allegedly came in from the PFI. What can you tell our viewers about this part of the investigation?
Well, absolutely, Navika. Financial aspect is almost critical for the smooth functioning of any conspiracy. Many may say that this is not large sums of money that are required to be involved for execution of this conspiracy, but money is the grease that moves the wheel. And the fact remains that Popular Front of India, according to top investigating agencies, financial investigating agencies of the country, hundreds, scores of their members were put on the radar, obviously because of the suspicious transactions that were taking place through their accounts. Small transactions, but suspicious in nature nonetheless. And then finally, at least three dozen members of their accounts were zeroed in with absolutely crystal clear suspicious transactions, which these members, who have been questioned, some of them arrested later on, could never explain as to why was money being transferred and changing hands in a manner that they were trying to, while they were trying to stay below the radar of the investigating agencies, but still continually transferring money to the individual operatives who later became operational during the Delhi riots and other such conspiracies across the country. So there is quite clearly a wider network of financial conspiracy aspect also being probed by the top investigating agencies of this country that has resulted in the simmering situation on the ground that we see. And it quite clearly was not an organic protest, but was a very well pre-planned conspiracy that the Home Minister alluded to when he was speaking in the Parliament. Much to the derision, much derision came his way from the opposition benches, but now it's all unraveling and would be in a court of law very, very soon.
Well, Nikunj bringing us that top big, stunning, exclusive story here on the plot behind the Delhi riots. And so the legitimate question on the News Hour tonight is just this. Were Delhi riots planned to malign Modi on a global stage? That's the question and the big debate. Delhi riot plotters tracked. The debate and the hashtag there on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. And let's go across to our panelists who are joining us on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, GVL Narasimha Rao, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, Ashutosh, political analyst, and Shoaib Jamai, President of the Indian Muslim Foundation, joining me on the debate. And of course, Nikunj Garg continues to be with us. I want to ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla, would you today actually say that these were organic disturbances, the riots happened because the BJP aggravated them? That's exactly the position that was taken by Sonia Gandhi. After the details that have been unraveled by Nikunj Garg, will you still stick to that theory?
No, ma'am. I just stick to one theory which I've often said on Times Now, that Amit Shah sir is the most incompetent Home Minister in the history of independent India. For the fact that Donald Trump was supposed to come into India, of course, social distancing norms were thrown out of the window because the Home Ministry was cuckooing, but Donald Trump was supposed to come and IB was snoozing while a riot was being planned, and Amit Shah was button dawowing in Shaheen Bagh. That is the incompetence of Amit Shah and Narendra Modi ji. One more thing that I would like to end with. Every time this government is in a threat, there is some kind of a story where people are suffering. There is miraculously a story of a riot, of Narendra Modi's life under threat, Pakistan, Dawood Ibrahim. This is to be repeated. Tell me one case Amit Shah has ever solved in his life, either as Home Minister of Gujarat or as Home Minister of India. All he's done has been a colossal failure, and this proves once again he's a colossal failure.
GVL Narasimha Rao?
Navika, I think at one level, Tehseen has accepted that it is Congress Party and Sonia Gandhi and many others, PFI, they were all in it together. And then he wants to blame the government for not having really caught them beforehand. I think certainly all the villains in this entire episode, their stories, the truth is getting unraveled. I think the skeletons in the cupboard, the Congress PFI links are also very well known. The left PFI links are very well known. So PFI is certainly behind these disturbances, but behind the PFI are political parties like the Congress, the Aam Aadmi Party. People have known how a councillor of the Aam Aadmi Party was instrumental in a lot of this violence, in killing an intelligence officer, IB officer, Ankit Sharma. I think we have seen this all. It was a pre-planned murder of which was staged by the PFI and certain interest groups which are really closely aligned with the Congress, the Aam Aadmi Party, and the so-called the pseudo-secular lobby. They wanted to create a mayhem in India at a time when President Trump was visiting. And let me inform Tehseen, a lot of terrorists were on the run when Prime Minister was Chief Minister of Gujarat and Mr. Amit Shah was Home Minister of Gujarat. And all the likes for whom you have been shedding tears on TV, they were simply eliminated because they were terrorists and they posed a threat to India's security. I think the Congress, by making such statements, Tehseen is only drawing people like Priyanka Vadra, Sonia Gandhi.
I have facts to state this, and let me get in Ashutosh. Ashutosh, on the day after the Jamia violence, who said this? Final decision will be on the streets, not in the Supreme Court. Harsh Mandar. activist. 40 days into the Shaheen Bagh blockade, Faizul Hasan, ex-AMU president, came out and said, being patient can break India if we want, whenever we want. Also, Umar Khalid, ex-JNU student, 6 days before the Delhi riots, went out and said protest during Trump's visit. He gave the open call for doing that. And then 4 days before the Delhi riots, 15 crore can overpower 100 crore was the statement given by Waris Pathan. I want to ask you, Ashutosh ji, you've been a journalist. Would you not link this to what happened in the aftermath of these comments in the riots?
Navika, I had appeared on so many panel discussion on the channel, but today I had never seen a BJP spokesperson so out of sync with the reality. Because if I go by him, then the Congress is the conspirator, Aam Aadmi Party is the conspirator, then the pseudo-secularists are the conspirators, Islamists are the conspirator, left liberals are the conspirator. For the only thing which was left is the Khan Market gang. So I think I want to remind my dear friend Mr. Jeevel Narasimha Rao that Khan Market gang is also there. Now the fact of the matter is that such a big conspiracy was hatched by so many people, and India's Home Minister was sitting when the most powerful man on the earth was visiting. So what was the intelligence doing? Is it not the colossal failure on the part of the Home Minister himself that he could not unravel? And after this conspiracy has been unraveled, not one of them has been arrested till now. And PFI is roaming free. And the money is transacted from one cash to another cash. And PFI is so I don't fail to understand that it is a classic case, because the investigation which you are seeing, I'm sorry to say this, nothing new in this. It's based on conjectures. There is absolutely no
based on conjectures, Dr. Anand Ranganathan. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, the facts are all there. There are 3,200 people and bank accounts that have been identified by investigating agencies across the country. 39 of these were active during the Delhi riots, and those allegedly had links with cash transactions from PFI to some of these groups and chat groups where hidayat was given कि भाई शाहीन बाग में नहीं करना है, नॉर्थ ईस्ट दिल्ली में करना है क्योंकि हमें हिंदू मुसलमान करना है. These are the statements that have been made in the chat groups. I want to ask you, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, isn't this the same lobby? Every time you question Shaheen Bagh, they went and said, oh, freedom of speech nahi hai, anti-Muslim hai, CAA aa gaya, iske baad NPR aayega, they're going to take our citizenship away, the Muslims are going to be turned out, and today they're saying, oh, conspiracy was happening and nobody knew anything about it. Everybody knew everything about it, but any statement that was made by the government was completely ridiculed by this same gang of pseudo-liberals.
Yeah, good evening, Navika. You know, this is shocking, hearing Mr. Ashutosh saying that this was based on conjecture. Really? These are serious charges of being in cahoots with PFI, of leading a mob and inciting riots in which so many innocents, both Hindus and Muslims, were killed. Surely we shouldn't leap to any conclusion and try tears of grief like Sonia Gandhi did during Batla. Let the law take its course. Police says, and by the way, there are 50 policemen, officers involved in this special cell. They say it has technical evidence against Asif that he incited mobs during the riots. He was also seen in the CCTV footage of the riot affected areas. They checked his call record details and found more evidence. If ultimately he is found innocent, I would be happy for him. But here, can I please expose the shameless hypocrisy of the Congress and the left outraging over these arrests? Navika, in 2011, police under Congress, same Congress, arrested 60 tribals and Dalits, including the Dalit activist and editor Sudhir Dhawale, under the UAPA and sedition charges. He spent 40 months in jail before being acquitted. Mr. Kapil Sibal was the Law and Justice Minister. Activist Vernon Gonzalez was arrested and convicted under UAPA when Congress was in power. But when he was arrested again under the BJP, Congress cried vendetta and emergency. UAPA is a controversial law because under it a confession to a police officer is admissible as evidence. Congress accepted it when it was in power, but opposed it when it went out of power. But look at the hypocrisy. It still agrees with the same clause in Makoka. And as for the left activists are concerned, what can I say? 151 cases have been filed under UAP in Kerala in just the last year. All these activists supported the UAPA charges on Maya Kodnani. But when Justice Devani overturned a trial court conviction and acquitted her, he was called a BJP stooge and a villain. Same judge, by the way, had in 2016 overturned the trial court acquittal of 3 Hindus in the Viramgram riots and convicted them. Then he was hailed a hero. As I say, Navika, there are only 2 kinds of people in a democracy. One who respect the judiciary and the other who think they are the judiciary. Congress and all these left activists fall in the second category.
Ashutosh has been raising his finger. He's outraged by the statements you made. Tehseen is outraged. Ashutosh, Nikunj also wants to come in. Ashutosh first.
I think, my dear friend, he spoke everything except on the matter itself. See, Anand is a good speaker. There's no doubt about it. But he doesn't know anything about Delhi police. The Delhi police is so competent that whatever happened in the JNU, not one has been arrested. Not one has been arrested, despite their identity. Everybody knows. So the competence of the Delhi police and the competence of the intelligence agencies after 2014 is completely in shambles. So I do not buy these arguments that more than 30 Muslims were killed in Delhi riots.
So your only defense, Ashutosh, is that the Delhi police is incompetent and it can't do anything.
Your heart only bleeds.
Okay, you're saying PFI is competent, you're saying the left Islamist radical groups are competent, but the Delhi police is incompetent. Nikunj Garg, who has looked at many investigations of the Delhi police, Nikunj Garg, what would you like to respond to Ashutosh, whose only defense in this case is that the Delhi police is incompetent and they can't be solving something like this? Nikunj.
Well, Navika, 2 quick points I want to make. One, to Tehseen's point that he says that there was a conspiracy that was happening and it was only discovered at a time when the government is facing some kind of crisis. Tehseen, my friend, I must tell you that for last 2 months, continually this channel has been reporting stories on worst crisis. I have myself gone on this channel and said that reverse migration is one of the challenges that this government has completely failed to do so. You can go back and watch that. So kindly do not accuse us of doing selective journalism at a time when government faces some kind of crisis. Number 1. Number 2, about the conspiracy. Navika, what is a conspiracy? A conspiracy is a hidden planning. If it's an open planning, then obviously everyone will come to know. It will not remain a conspiracy. It was a conspiracy which is now being unraveled under the due process of investigations. And that is why it was not known to the people at that particular point in time. And that is why when multiple times police wanted to investigate, interrogate people, scores of policemen were injured on multiple occasions in northeast Delhi. So it is not as if, the riot all of a sudden started and police had absolutely no clue. They were present on the ground. They tried to control. They were outnumbered. It has happened on multiple occasions in multiple states, both in Congress and BJP rule. Why it is so surprising in case of Delhi police?
Well, Tehseen Poonawalla, respond to Nikunj's pointed question to you.
Sure, ma'am. Nikunj is one of my favorite journalists and a very competent journalist. I have absolute faith on Times Now. I'm not questioning Nikunj's journalism or Times Now journalism, but I fail to understand how PFI that I've discussed with you, Navika ma'am, 100 times on Times Now, continues to be an issue every time Narendra Modi ji is in trouble. For example, if PFI is such a trouble that every time we discuss his idiot during elections or when Narendra Modi is in trouble, why doesn't Mr. Narendra Modi ban it? For PFI to hatch a conspiracy to go and put words in Kapil Mishra's mouth कि देश के गद्दारों को गोली मारेंगे, for Kapil Mishra to go and say इनको हटाओ यहाँ से वरना इसका reaction देखो, and a DCP Delhi to be standing by there. My God, PFI is a master conspirator. Now if a master conspirator is there and Donald Trump is supposed to come in India, was Amit Shah sir snoozing like he was snoozing in Gujarat? And right, Narasimha Rao rightly said that the terrorists in Gujarat were on a run. Most of the BJP Gujarat leaders were on a run at the time when Narendra Modi.
Narasimha Rao also snoozing when the Babri Masjid was being demolished. Why don't you decide if you have a list of people who have been snoozing and that's your only interest area, Tehseen Poonawalla? But GVL Narasimha Rao is raising his hand. He wants to rebut you. Yes.
You see, okay, if what Tehseen is doing is to say that there is some kind of a BJP soft corner for PFI, why did Congress party have an alliance with them? The PFI is certainly going to face the full force of the law of this land. The Congress party is hand in glove with the PFI. You already had in Karnataka, for instance, You had a direct political arrangement and affiliation with the SDPI of the PFI, the political arm of the PFI. When you were in power in Kerala, when the DGP of the state said PFI needs to be banned, the political leadership of Kerala, Oommen Chandy, the chief minister, did not act against the PFI. You have been giving protection to the PFI when you were in power in Kerala, when you were in power in Karnataka, and you continue to doing so. The left parties are also extending the same patronage to the PFI in Kerala, but this government will certainly go hard on them, and it's going to be a matter of time when the PFI will be brought under the full force of the law of the land.
Shoaib Jamai, you were the principal instigator, organizer, public face of the Shaheen Bagh protests. Why was Shaheen Bagh not enough for protest? Why was Northeast Delhi chosen? Because it's very clear, as the investigations have shown, the finding 1 of the investigation says that witness statements of local residents have revealed this, and conspirators were trying to sabotage peace. It also, the proof number 2 is bank account details of conspirators, and we have the earlier finding of the Enforcement Directorate during the Shaheen Bagh protests, during the anti-CAA protests, where every time there were money coming into PFI accounts, we can see those graphs. The violence would increase as the cash flow would increase. And then the agencies are now talking about the fact that just as that violence was increasing, it flowed into February, and 39 bank accounts are under the scanner. Shoaib Jamai, I'm asking you a pointed question.
Yes, definitely.
Money transactions between PFI and these groups on which Hindu-Muslim karana hai. इसलिए नॉर्थ ईस्ट दिल्ली चूज की थी राइट्स के लिए.
Navika, let me rectify your facts. I was the spokesperson of the Shaheen Bagh movement, and I'm proud to do that, isn't it? I'm not the instigator or whatever you want to say. The second thing, I have one very few pointed question is that who burned the 500 houses of the Muslims in Shiv Vihar and Khajuri Khas? From where those crowd of 4,000 came outside of the Delhi and burned the houses of the Muslims in Khajuri Khas, in Shiv Vihar, in the scores of numbers. Who were they? Why the arrest has not been made to them? And the third thing, these Jamia students have been wrongfully been, accused, made the accused in this case of riots to hide the real culprits, real conspirators of these riots. I strongly believe that the students and activists of the Jamia Millia Islamia can never be involved in any kind of riots.
Even if they were part of chat groups, and Nikunj will stand by his story, even if the fact is that these WhatsApp chats that were picked up said that a special committee was formed to aggravate the situation ahead of Trump's visit. Also, finding number 2, special committee organized dharnas and blockades at many sensitive places. 19 sites were specifically chosen by conspirators to stoke communal tension. Northeast Delhi was chosen as a target due to its combustible mix of population. You answered your question. Combustible mix of population in that area. And some so-called activists were ticked off by the locals for spreading communal venom. And in the Hidayat, or Hidayat likha hua hai WhatsApp chat mein, Hidayats were circulated on WhatsApp groups on how to sabotage peace. Nikunj, isn't that true, and isn't that part of the investigation carried out by the agencies?
Should I complete? I give the...
Navika, let me answer your panelist first. Your panelist has been making an allegation that he has been actually questioning that who burned the houses of the Muslim members of the minority community. Obviously, there is involvement of the majority community. Obviously, that is why scores of people have been arrested from both sides. I mean, this is soft peddling of lies, actually, and this is how insidious propaganda is run. Numbers of arrests on both sides is almost equal, and that runs into close to 400 people on each side. Obviously, if 400 members of the majority community have been arrested, quite clearly they are guilty of something. Quite clearly they have been arrested and put behind the bars.
Victims, the main conspirator. You are hatching a conspiracy to make the victims of this riot
I think
to
you know
a conspirator.
I know you are all a part of this conspiracy.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I want to ask you, when Northeast Delhi is selected as an area, 19 locations are discussed on a WhatsApp group, and they say हिदायत दे रहे हैं कि हमें पीस को साबोटाज करना है और हिंदू मुस्लिम करवाना है.
4,000 to 5,000 came.
जब हिंदू मुस्लिम करवाना है तो दोनों तरफ से तो आग लगाई जा रही है ना.
Fade this gentleman out.
And burned the houses of the Muslim community.
Can you please fade this heckler out?
You are speaking only for one community. You were instrumental in both the disturbances in Shaheen Bagh and also in Northeast Delhi. I think it was a pre-planned. It was a pre-planned riot on your part by the supporters, by the sympathizers of PFI like you.
There's so many people speaking. Can you please?
Why are you trying to hide Kapil Mishra? Why are you trying to save Kapil Mishra?
No. It had nothing to do with it. It was
Navika.
Aam Aadmi Party's MLA.
Is your fader not working?
Kapil Mishra. We'll come to Kapil Mishra. Why don't you respond to the findings of the agencies, Dr. Anand Ranganathan? Every time they will say Kapil Mishra. I want to ask you, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, is the fact that there was a conspiracy to malign India and malign Prime Minister Modi at a time when he had swung such a huge visit of President Donald Trump and made a statement on a world stage? There was a group, there was a part of India, and there was a lobby that wanted to take away that shine of this visit, and which is why it's being called a conspiracy.
Yes, and Navika, because my name was taken by my good friend Ashutosh, can I just please say, if Ashutosh, God forbid, if Ashutosh was Quentin Tarantino, the movie he would direct would be Pulp Fiction. ये दही का क्या रायता बनाया आशुतोष? And as far as people, I'm shocked people are actually cushioning the activities of PFI. The PFI is an organization neck deep in acts of terror, bomb making, training camps, political murders, linked with Al-Qaeda and Islamic fundamentalism. It came into prominence after Simi was banned. Many of the PFI leaders are ex-Simi. And this is not me saying this, Navika, but the Kerala police and the High Court. Let me give you just one example of PFI's criminal antecedents. And by the way, PFI is heavily involved in the Delhi riots. On July 4, 2010, PFI activists... Sir, can you please stop interrupting me? Navika, this gentleman has been interrupting me for the last 5 minutes.
Shoaib Jamai, calm down. Dr. Ranganathan is making his point. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Yes, hundreds of PFI leaders and activists have been charged under the UAPA, all under the Congress and the Communists. But the moment the BJP comes to power, the former start supporting such organizations. मेरी समझ में नहीं आता कि आप चाहते क्या हो?
चाहते ये हैं तहसीन पूनावाला के हमने जो कहा वो हम we will take a 360-degree turn on that, but we have to malign Modi. Isn't that the agenda? Isn't that what Harsh Mandar was saying? Isn't that what Sonia Gandhi was saying? Even Sonia Gandhi, BJP leaders incited, their cops colluded. That's what she said about the riots in Delhi. Asaduddin Owaisi said Delhi violence not communal but a pogrom. And Mamta Banerjee said Delhi riots are state-sponsored, planned genocide. And Pinari Vijayan, CM of Kerala, said outcome of Sangh silencing dissent with violence, and so on and so forth. I want to ask you, Tehseen Poonawalla, today with these findings, would you like to apologize?
Apologize for what? The only person who should be apologizing should be Ajit Doval, who, like Anand Ranganathan, I think seems to be filling his stomach with steamed baturas. He failed in Pathankot, he failed in Delhi when Trump came, he met Maulana Saad, and in a lockdown, Maulana Saad ran away. He's the most incompetent NSA that we have. But
Navika,
a larger question, Dr.
Kind of personal allegation.
How can you get so personal?
Just, if he has a 56
just because every other day there are terrorists who are liquidated, you think the security agencies are asleep? That's why all this is happening?
Can I answer? After 6 years of
and
Narendra
Navika,
Modi,
all
you
the
can't ban
Punjabis, including you,
which Anand said
take
so many
serious
cases on them.
offense on
What do you expect
Tehseen
of
making
Narendra
fun of
Modi?
steamed chola baturas.
The
Oh,
Chola
please, I never
Bhaturas
said
happen
chola,
to be
I
the
said
least
steamed
of our
bhaturas.
problems
You
tonight,
can enjoy
Dr.
steamed
Anand
bhaturas.
Ranganathan, because Tehseen
Exactly.
Poonawalla,
That
Tehseen
is what this
Poonawalla
government is focused on.
has
It's
made a mishmash of facts in the matter. The only dharma that they seem to have is Modi ko
What's
malain
new?
karo. They will even
What's
support PFI because PFI is acceptable, but Modi is not. And that's the basic premise on which this politics work. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for me, the biggest part of this investigation is the fact that WhatsApp groups had identified that they didn't want to operate out of Shaheen Bagh anymore. Why? Because Shaheen Bagh was dominated by one community. They wanted to move to another part of Delhi, which is the northeast of Delhi, where there was both community living together, and that is where the laboratory of this riots conspiracy was worked out. 19 places chosen with precision because they wanted to embarrass the government and they wanted to create what they called tension between the two communities. And when there was tension, nobody is saying that there wasn't destruction on the Muslim side. But the fact is, who lit the fire? Who made that conspiracy? किसने हिदायत दी थी कि हिंदू मुस्लिम कराना है? किसने आग लगाई? और जब आग बढ़ी तो आग किसी से किसी का मजहब पूछती है, किसी का धर्म पूछती है? सोचने वालों ने ये नहीं सोचा. That's where I want to leave this. Who spread the fire? And did the fire go out of control and burnt the same hands that lit the fire? Is a question this lobby will have to answer sooner than later. Thanking my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. Debate number 2 coming up on the other side.